of Scrabble of some sort. And your rules say that if you don't like a couple of the tiles you have, you can pass them to a neighbor. And they get stuck with the Q and the Z. But your tiles are A, B, C, D, and E. 5 different tiles. You're going to pick 2 to pass to the left. How many ways could you make your selection of tiles? Does the order matter? When you pick up those tiles and you put them down on the table and pass them to your neighbor, does he have to pick them up in the same order that you laid them down?
No.
When he puts them in his rack of tiles, does he have to put them at the beginning, at the end, or can he arrange them anywhere? In other words, here's the analogy of the cards in the deck. Is it easier to say that I can rearrange the cards when someone deals me cards? So does order make a difference? No. So how many tiles do you have to select from for the first tile? Any of 5 tiles. Where can you put that tile? Any of 2 places. So I might conveniently say that I'm going to do this. Would it have made a difference if I put those over here?
No.
Because when you multiply, does it make a difference if you rearrange the ingredients? No, absolutely not. For our purposes, we'll fill from the left and work to the right because that's the way that we write. Not because it has to be there. We're accounting for the denominator telling me that I didn't have to put that on the first slot. I could have put it on any of 2 slots that were sitting out there. That's an important piece of the puzzle. Now, how many tiles are left? Not 5? No, because I had 5 different tiles, right? So I can't give you an A, pick it back up and give you another A and say I gave you 2 tiles. That doesn't work. I got to use something else. So how many remaining tiles are there? 4. And how many places can that be positioned now? Only 1 place. Now we're talking about interfacing with the calculator. Now we have a more complicated operation because we got a denominator, and the calculator really doesn't care. It gives you lots of leeway. Your calculator does understand the order of operations, however. So here are options. 5 times 4 is 20, and I'm done with the numerator. 2 times 1 is 2, and I'm done with the denominator. And now 20 divided by 2, 10. There's one way to do it. I don't do it that way because that forces me to type something in. And my big fat fingers sometimes hit the wrong keys, as you've seen, because I can't type. Okay? Or I can do it as a grouping, exactly like it shows. 5, they could be in 2 different positions, and 4, they can be in only 1 position. Your calculator understands the order of operations, so it's going to magically do that as though it did this. The grouping symbols will not make a difference at all in this particular case. Your calculator probably doesn't build fractions this way because when you type it in, it puts them out as a horizontal strip. As long as all you're doing is multiplication and division, the calculator handles them in exactly the order you put them in. So not a problem. But if you try to do the whole operation at one time, you need to protect yourself with doing this. If you decide that you want all of that done at one time, that's still 10. If you try to type in the numerator and then try to type in the denominator and don't use grouping symbols, obviously that's wrong because I typed something wrong. 5 times 4 divided by 2 times 1. We might get the same thing, but we might not. Depends upon the number of operations. Generally speaking, if you're going to try to type the whole operation at one time, where you type numerators and denominators, use a grouping symbol. In this particular case, it turned out to be the same thing, but that doesn't always work that way. So any of